So we've beaten Engine. Next up is Sabotage.
Oh, God.
And then we'll get to the rest of the train. I'm sure Cortex will be fine. He'll be perfectly content that we just beat Engine.
What is your problem, Bandicoot? I will not ask you again to bring me the crystals. Obtain the remaining 5 crystals, Crash, and bring them to me.
I respect the writers at Naughty Dog for not having Cortex say, "What is your major malfunction?" The temptation to make that joke must have been so strong, but they didn't do it, and I applaud them for that.
I think they probably could have snuck it in.
Anyway, let's play a level that they called Piston It Away. So this is the... Actually, now that I think about it, it's the third to last new environment that we're seeing. There are lots of actually new areas, kind of. And this is one of them. These pistons are basically just the crushers from the snow levels. Also, I made a note of this. These are the Sparky Tentacle Bot units, or STUs for short.
STUs.
I'll just call them STUs. I don't know if they're referred to as STUs, but they are referred to as Sparky Tentacle Bot units. So let's just call them STUs for convenience, because I'll have a lot to say about them. You'll notice that there's a second phase there. They rise their tentacles above their heads. And then you have STUs that alternate between those two phases. Like so. There's a particular quirk to this as it relates to the Sane Trilogy only, which we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I remember really liking these levels as a kid, and they're pretty fun endgame challenges.
They look really good, too.
Yeah, we'll be seeing a bit of PS1 footage from the original versions of these, and they still look pretty good even then. So, anyway, this death route is actually a trick. Don't go there yet. Let's step on this, and that is a shrink ray.
Wait, does it actually shrink you?
If it hits us, yeah. You don't want to step on those pads.
I smell a puzzle coming up requiring that Crash be shrunk.
Yeah, this is one of the very few areas in the Sane Trilogy that I think is impossible to complete normally with the new physics. Or at least conventionally. Like, it is possible, but you have to bring an Aqualaka mask in here in order to do it. Because you have to backtrack, and you can't jump over those nitro boxes, as far as I know. With the momentum the way it works in the Sane Trilogy, I just don't think it's possible to clear that gap cleanly. Also, I haven't pointed it out until now, but the bonus room music are all rearrangements of the main music for that area.
Oh, yeah!
That is not something that carries over into Crash Bandicoot 3. They actually do something else instead. Anyway, I think I show it off here. Well, no, not here, but eventually you'll see that the Shrink Ray can actually be spun attacked. Or spinned attack, I guess is the proper verb. Anyway, this is a barricade lab assistant. You have to spin him back into a bottomless pit.
So you actually push them along as you...
Yes. Yeah, they can't actually hurt you, but their shield will bounce you back if you collide into it.
I have to admit, they got creative.
Yeah, like I said, the lab assistants and their variants are probably my favorite enemies in the series. Just because they do a lot with what is basically just a guy. Anyway, Now that we're going back to the level, let's backtrack all the way to where we saw that death route.
Oh, so it tricks you into skipping a bunch of boxes.
Yes. Because there are actually 2 different level exits that count as one. But there is a level exit at the end of this death route.
That's devious.
Hitboxes, gotta love them. I don't appreciate how literal the the hitbox interpretation is for the nitro boxes when they bounce. Yeah, I think it's here where we get to see a very weird quirk about the STUs, as it applies only to the Sane Trilogy. Because you'll notice their animation when they jump between the up and down states. In the Sane Trilogy, you have to wait until the very end of that animation when it goes down. Otherwise, it counts as a hit. Look at that bullshit.
Huh.
I hate that so much.
Okay, buggy hit reg.
It's the timing more so of when the stew's tentacles have to be all the way down. We got 69 boxes. That's
It's pretty nice.
yeah. Anyway, I think it's time to show off a mechanic that I've been promising since the very first video. Never got around to it, but it only shows up in this final warp room.
I still just expect it to be the sad Bandicoot.
Anyway, you may remember in the PlayStation 1 intro, there was that sequence where Crash was on a jetpack.
Yes.
Also, this area has some of the best music in the game.
Wait, is this the jetpack level?
You bet!
Oh.
So, the controls for the jetpack level, I mean, they're better than they were in the original, but that's not saying much. They also managed to be bad in a completely different way. Like, in the original Crash's jetpack controls are very floaty. There's a lot of forward momentum, but here, Crash can turn very quickly. It's quite disorienting, especially if you miss a box. You kind of have to... It's equally bad in both the original and the Sane Trilogy, but for different reasons. It's strange. Also, this music is fantastic.
Also, I just want to point out, the model for the jetpack is very clearly a knockoff of the jetpack from the Rocketeer.
Oh shit, you're right! Mike Stacklasa would love this level. Anyway, that's an electric lab assistant. Pretty straightforward. You attack him when he's not shooting electricity.
Okay, boy, if you want everything in this level, you gotta work for it.
Yeah. Yeah, doing clear jam runs of the jetpack levels is not fun.
This game gave kids PTSD, didn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I definitely remember agonizing over this. Thankfully, though, you can invert the jetpack controls, at least when it comes to up or down, in the start menu. So that's a small bit of mercy, I guess. Anyway, let's keep going. So I thought to myself, this is a pretty good take. I think I managed to show off the positives and the negatives of this level. And I got the clear gem too. That's pretty good. Anyway, let's get out of here.
Oh no, what did you miss?
Yeah, I missed something. I forgot the crystal after all that. It was such a good take. So I just decided, whatever, I'll do a second run for the crystal. It doesn't matter.
Back in the box!
And one run later, I got the crystal, and let's just continue as normal after that. I just realized I forgot to add some of the VHS sound effects. I'll have to do that in post. Oops. Or maybe I won't. It'll be funnier that way. It'll shatter the illusion for anyone who thinks I use an actual VHS for these recordings. Anyway, there's the crystal. And I did mention that the darkness gimmick returns from Crash 1. They do a lot more interesting things with it, though.
It was a good gimmick.
So rather than having the glowing Aku Aku masks, we have these fireflies.
Okay.
As soon as you grab them, they basically act the same way as the glowing Aku Aku masks. But they're actually unique. I like it.
Ooh. Really nice lighting effect, too.
Yeah. There's also a new feature that's exclusive to the Sane Trilogy where if you miss a firefly and go further back, it will light the path for you on a predetermined trail, which is pretty neat. I believe that was added for the NST as like a quality of life feature. Anyway, of course, this level has a death route. Wrong part of the body, Coco. You gotta slide. You can't jump on those things. Anyway, this is another instance where you could just death warp and keep the gem. It makes things a lot easier.
This is a very pretty effect. This is still a devious concept for a level.
You want to talk about devious, though?
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. They're gonna pull out all the stops at the end.
Yeah, these robots are well, they're not as invincible as the Tiki ones because you can still destroy them with the invincibility mask, but there's no way to attack them directly without the masks. There are still some boxes on the death route path. However, it's actually more efficient to wait until the paths converge. Well, we'll see that in a little bit here. It is also very slightly easier on the Insane Trilogy, and that's because thanks to the new lighting engine, you can actually kind of make out the shapes of things when you don't get the fireflies.
Quality of life.
Whereas before, in the PS1 version, it was total darkness. They didn't have the proper lighting engine for that.
I don't know, that's pretty dark right there.
It was much worse in the original. You'll just have to trust me on that. As in, they made it artificially short draw distance. Anyway, there are a couple of boxes right at the end here. This is at the end of the death route.
Aha.
That's the only reason to go back there. It makes things much easier. So I've been doing that slide spin attack there. In the original version, the fastest method of movement was actually to slide, then let go of the D-pad or joystick, and then do a spin during the slide animation. It would carry the momentum of the slide through while doing the spin, and it had the bonus effect of not having the extra stop when you spin. That was something that was kind of replicated in the NST, but only slightly. It was one of those things they tried to implement. I still can't get the timing for that in the NST version, but in the PS1, it's pretty easy to do. Anyway, Sabotage content, mostly focusing on the PS1 version. For instance, we're going to see the PS1 version of the jetpack level.
Ooh.
But first, the death animations of the NST, which are pretty similar to how they were in the original.
Just turn to ash.
Yep.
The boxers are a nice touch.
Of course. Anyway, I appreciate the absurd effort in the PS1 version to actually have a convincing animation where Crash puts on the backpack, or the jetpack, and then seamlessly transitions into his other model. It's incredible. That is not so incredible, though. Anyway, this is the Shrink Ray death, which has a unique difference. You can't move at all in the NST, whereas on the PS1 version, you have a limited amount of control during that death animation. It's pretty great. Also, here's something I never knew about until I did this LP, which is these metal platforms in the middle of the electric eel parts. If you stand on them for too long, they sink.
Oh.
I never knew that as a kid. It mainly because I just probably went through the level as normal.
Never stood on them for that long. Yeah.
Anyway, that is the second last video of this LP. I'm gonna try to keep them to 10 videos. Crash 3 might be 11, but I'll have to figure out how that works. Anyway, I'm sure that, Cortex is fine. It was just a bit of unnecessary anger, after we beat up his second in command. I'm sure that I completely forgot to mention, as Cortex said in that cutscene, the enemies that we've been fighting so far are under the payroll of Dr. Embryo, the one that we're getting the gems for. And so, because this game treats the 100% ending of Crash 1 as canon, that means that he has been funding this army essentially on a bartender's salary.
I mean, bartenders technically make good money.
I guess in Australia, because of the heightened minimum wage, somehow Embryo could get around the increase of cost of living that comes with that, and I don't know. He's got a lot of influence. I take it as the former number 2 of Cortex.
Yeah, we'll go with it.